Hello, everybody. I'm Tarzan,
And I'm Pedro.
and this is our podcast. Now that we're men,
It's the dream.
Oh yeah, you had a topic you've been wanting to talk about.
So I felt, for the first time in my life, I felt slut shamed. I felt like very like insecure.
By who?
So, this person I'm talking to, her
Okay.
friend.
Oh, the person.
So-
Okay.
So like we're all friends now, so we all kind of are on FaceTime a lot.
Mhm.
And the other day she was like, people that sleep with like multiple people, they're like messy.
Mhm.
I was like, I felt
Yeah.
eerie. I didn't like how
Wait,
she
but
said it.
does she know that you sleep around with multiple people?
Yeah.
She was like, Tarzan, you're messy, dude.
But she was talking about people in general, and,
Oh.
and she's like, I wouldn't be with somebody who has a high body count. And I was like, what if they have like 10? And they're like, yeah, no, I don't think I can do that. They're like,
How many does
messy.
she want? Does she
I don't
want like a
know.
virgin?
Yeah, I guess
She
so.
wants Virgin Mary?
I guess so. I was like, but I felt so insecure. I felt
Yeah.
like the way she said it.
What the hell?
Like I guess I could, on a level, I can understand when people feel slut shamed, because like
Yeah.
it felt weird.
Honestly, who they were with or what they did before they dated you shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is now and the future.
The only thing that insecures me about somebody having a high body count
Mm.
is I don't know if I'm gonna be able to perform to that level.
Oh, I felt that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause I was like, I've only done it twice, so like, and this person has had a lot of experience. So what if I go in there and fuck it up?
Yeah.
I was like 2mm Peter, two seconds and I quit. Like, what's gonna happen?
It's gonna go bad.
But honestly, I think as long as you don't freak out, you're fine.
Yeah. Just
Like,
do what you do.
You need to relax.
You'll
Be
get
in
better.
your element.
Even if you aren't the best, you'll get better.
Feel the animalistic pressure. Feel the animal
Mm.
inside of you.
What do you think is the main reason why most guys have commitment issues?
Why most guys have commitment issues?
I thought of
Why I
my
have
theory.
commitment issues?
No, most guys. Because I
Why I
thought of
have
a theory.
commitment issues?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. What's your theory?
My theory
Yeah.
is that guys,
Mhm.
when they get a really good girl,
Yeah.
they get scared that there might be something better.
Mm-hmm.
They're scared of that there might be something better, and I feel like women don't have to worry about that one, because within guys, I guess it can't get much better.
Mm.
Like obviously there's abusive,
Yeah.
and then there's the regular guy,
Yeah.
and like I guess it can't get much better than the regular guy.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But I feel like women do end up worrying about that later on into a marriage.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's part of it. It's coming on as FOMO, like fear of missing out.
Yeah.
So you think like, oh, I'm with this person now, but what if I missed out on this better person?
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
Pathetic.
But I mean, it's weird because sometimes I think like that too, but it makes no sense. Like when you think about it,
Yeah.
it makes no sense. But I guess that is how I thought about things in the past, and I think that definitely adds to my commitment issues.
Yeah. I only bring this up because my coworker, she has a kid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she has a kid.
Yeah, she has a kid.
Okay.
And she said that she right now she hates dating,
Mm-hmm.
because she only wants to date to get married.
Yeah.
And
I mean that makes sense when
yeah,
you have a kid.
when you have a kid, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I was like, and she's like, and like the last boyfriend she just broke up with,
Mm-hmm.
they broke up because he wasn't like, he didn't want that,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, that's understandable.
Yeah.
And she started questioning why all guys like are childish or don't want to run into that.
Well, I guess
commitment.
I mean, you can't say all
Yeah.
guys. Like,
Yeah.
that's a classic trope. Like, I can't say all girls are evil.
Yeah.
All girls are manipulative.
Yeah.
Manipulative. It's not true. Like, even if you had one bad experience with like a woman or a man, you can't assume that of all men. And that's part of the thing that I've heard recently, or you can't say all men are trash, because if you do that, it sets the bar so low for men.
Yeah.
Like, you get one semi-decent guy, and you're like, he's better than all the
All
other
the
men
other
because
ones,
they're all trash.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the point that you were talking about, how, like, it can't get any much better because men are so bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's the same thing. Like, we're setting such a low standard for men that women have learned to accept that standard because they've been taught from young. It's like, oh, all men are trash. So if I find a guy that's not so trash,
Yeah.
then I'm doing pretty well for myself. Which is the same fucked up thing.
But yeah, and that's what made me start thinking about the commitment thing, because I was like, and her like age, she's 25.
That's pretty young.
So that exactly,
Yeah.
I was like, maybe it's the
You still
young
have
age.
time.
But then also people start getting married at 25, start having kids at 27.
But it's
also
also depends where you are in life.
And I was like, the way I saw it is most of those people though have been in the relationship for a long time.
Yeah.
And
when you get married that young, you're normally in a relationship for 3+ years.
Exactly.
And you just been kind of like waiting for it. Like you knew it was gonna happen eventually. You just were waiting.
So basically, her age group.
Yeah.
Or like I don't know how far what's the difference of ages she's looking into, but like what I'm seeing, like her age group is guys who are single at that time aren't really looking for that anymore.
No.
You know?
Yeah. It makes so much sense. Yeah. Like once you get to upper 20s, early 30s, that's when people really want to settle down. Yeah. But when you're in your mid 20s, you're in your prime of your life.
You kind of want to fool around.
Yeah. In your head, why would you want to be with someone and be with them for the rest of your life? Because for one, to be with someone for the rest of your life, in your head, even though most marriages end up in divorce, over 50%. But regardless, why would you want to do that if instead you can go and live your best life at the prime time?
Exactly.
Yeah, it only makes sense.
Yeah.
But this reminds me, I had a coworker who had a child very young, and that child was growing up, and she was saying how she really didn't like her husband, or not that she really didn't like him, but most people didn't like the guy because he was pretty much an asshole.
Okay.
He was not a good guy, but the way she thought of it, which I was like, how are you so selfless? She was like, if I don't stay with him, no one else is gonna like him. No one else is gonna ever be with him ever. Which is, in my head, I'm like, part of me is like, okay, but if you don't like the guy,
that is very selfless.
Even if you have a child and you don't like the guy, how are you staying with him?
But like when she's not parent, it's a very selfless thing. But when her being a parent, I think it's a very selfish thing.
Why?
Because she has a whole other person that she has to take care of. She has to think about.
Yeah. And
she's deciding to bring somebody else who isn't
No, that's the father of the son. Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, so it's not like a random guy.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be different. That would be selfish. Yeah. But this is the father of the kid, who she knows would not be loved and is not loved by other people, and she knows that he cares for the son, but he's not the best husband. It's it's insane.
But now that you think about it, 50%, that still leaves a lot of marriages. Obviously, it's a 50-50 coin flip on whether your marriage is going to be successful or not.
Yeah.
But, I'm always like, how can they say it's 50-50 when I see so many people that are married? But then again, 50-50 of such a grand number is still a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I think growing up, I knew a lot of divorced parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a thing that's very common now. But I think I've always had that worry in my mind that eventually, no matter who I marry, no matter how great they are, I've always had a fear that divorce is gonna be an option. Which is I think that's definitely part of the commitment issues. It's I always think what if something happens, I don't know, you get stuck in a routine, someone just loses feelings, which is a very human thing to do. I can never blame someone who loses feelings for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't, because I've done it before too. So it's I can't be hypocritical in that sense, and I get it. It makes sense. It's very much possible. So it's imagine being someone with 30+ years. You'd have to have a really, really good relationship for that to occur.
Yeah, definitely. In my mind, I've always thought about it I don't necessarily have to get married.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like at one point, it could be like I'm writing this solo, or the person I'm with maybe doesn't want to get married, and or doesn't necessarily feels the need to say, or just go through the whole process of being married. You know, you could just say, you are. Like in the thing that constitutes a marriage right now is that it goes through. That somebody says, "Oh, now you're married," you know.
Yeah.
But what if you both just say, "Well, we're married now," and like obviously there's like certain things that like you said that you can't file in taxes if you're not married through the government.
Yeah.
But like on an emotional level, like you could just say we're married and like and whenever like somebody asks you, you'd be like, I have a husband.
Yeah.
I have a wife.
Yeah, I mean for sure you can do that. But the only thing about that is like if you do have a child, like do you think that would change anything? Or do you think you could still just be like hypothetically married?
I don't think it would affect much of them because to them you're still together. To them you're still mom and dad. It's not like they know the difference. At what point do you know when marriage is marriage?
I guess the only thing that changes that is that there's a contract where it makes it harder for you to separate.
Yeah.
So I think by that sense, if you weren't married by the state or weren't married by the church, then it'd be very easy to split even if you had children. Yeah. But then at that point, then you have to go to court and fight over the child and everything. Unless you have a really good relationship, but then that relationship was probably scarred in a way that made you want to split up in the first place, which then makes everything more difficult. I think with children, it might be smarter just because of the legal process that would happen if you split up. What would happen to that child, and just to make it fair to the child. Because I know one of the big things in divorces is, what's it called? Like you have to pay for the child's living to basically be the same between both homes. That's why whenever one partner is richer, which I didn't know this, when one partner is richer, the reason they give money to the child support to the other partner is so that the child can have the same living, whether they're with one parent. Yeah.
Wherever they're at.
Like they go to the mansion and then go live in a hut. Like that, they don't want to have that for their child. So the reason they do child support is so no matter where the child is, from week to week, they can have the same like style of living, and it won't really affect the child as much, like mentally.
I think that makes sense.
And for that, I think is why it's helpful to go through the legal system. But if you don't have a child and you don't plan on having children, then I don't think.
I think that the hypothetical is a good way to go. But if you do have a child, I guess it's reasonable to go through the government for that process.
Yeah. Like I've always thought about this, which is why some relationships haven't lasted of mine. I get to the point where I'm like, maybe I've been together with this person for like a year. Then I'm like, in that year, I'm like, could I see a future with this person? And then I have to ask myself, like, could I realistically enjoy the rest of my life with this person? And then sometimes I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm like, well, why am I here?
That brings a whole thing that I feel like a lot of people find hard is ending a relationship that they know isn't gonna make it through their long run.
Like it's not like you might still like the person a lot, and you might be on a very good standing, but it gets to the point where you're like, am I not wasting my time, but sort of
wasting their time also?
Yeah, wasting both of our time by knowing that this might not have a future.
Yeah.
And after like a year, I think like you should have an idea.
Yeah.
Like,
and even if it's not a definite no.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a thing that you have to talk about, and it's a thing that people have to realize that it's hard to decide, and then I don't know. The breakups are just really hard,
Yeah, breakups are hard in general.
Yeah. But yeah, I was watching New Girl, and I basically hate the whole show.
Yeah, fair.
But this is a spoiler alert for anybody who wants to watch it and hasn't watched it, which I don't know what you're doing. It's been out for a long ass time.
Yeah.
Nick and Jess at one point break out. They're like right now they just recently broke up, but they had a really good relation. Well, they both really loved each other.
Yeah.
But at one point they were like arguing and stuff, and they realized is the only thing that we have in common in this relationship the fact that we love each other.
Mm.
And so they broke it up because of that reason. Cause that,
Sure.
So would a relationship like that be able to last? I don't think so.
Like when you didn't have a lot in common.
Where like that's the only thing you have in common.
Mm-hmm.
Like even your life, your point of views in life and stuff, they're all different. You know?
Yeah. I don't think so either. Like, I think realistically sorry, I was trying to make a number, but I think the 3 relationships I've had, I really have not had much in common with any of them. Like, I don't think I could talk about what I love and then relate to it in any way whatsoever. Yeah. Like, it was just a thing, you know, where they have their things, I have my things, and we just enjoy spending time with each other. We just enjoy each other.
Yeah.
But it does get to a point in a relationship where you're like, you know, like, what?
Yeah. So I feel like it's definitely necessary to not necessarily be the exact same person.
Yeah.
But be in common and similar in a way.
Yeah, like of course everyone's gonna have their differences. Like you're not gonna find someone who's exactly like you, and you probably wouldn't even like that. But you should share like a base similarities. Yeah. That way, no matter what happens, you have those similarities to always go to. Okay, so this is rich gentleman who's paying for the first ever space traveling mission with like regular ass people.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah.
Okay. Sign me up.
Yeah, so basically he's taking 8 people to the moon. You're gonna go on a spaceship. It's gonna be built by SpaceX, Elon Musk's company, and it's gonna go around the moon and back. It's gonna be the farthest any human has ever traveled in space.
Really?
Yes.
That's it? Well, the astronauts are always in satellites. They're always taking laps around the Earth.
Yeah, but no one's ever gone past the moon.
Oh, so like distance-wise.
Yeah.
So like as far as you can get.
Yeah, because they're not. Because we've been on the moon, but we've never fully gone around. Like no human has ever fully gone around it, and that's what they're doing. And he literally bought a whole spaceship, and is taking 8 people with him. Yeah. And you can enter a raffle. And I'll put the link right here if y'all are interested. For those of you watching on YouTube, and if not, it'll be in the description. But you can sign up and be one of the 8 people to ever travel to the moon commercially.
I feel like I've seen too many.
That's insane
to actually do that anymore.
See, but I think I here's my thought, right? If I die, I died doing the coolest thing. Like I'll go down in history books.
Yeah, but you're thinking like, oh, if you die because the rocket crashes or something. Yeah. I'm thinking I'm dying because some of the passengers are
gonna go insane
or going crazy or something. Yeah. Or just doing stupid shit. And
well, you have to go through training. Yeah. But I think I'm so down. Like I signed up for it. I'm really excited.
I'm scared of human error. Of humans.
Yeah, you're scared of humans. Not human error. Human error would be like you miscalculated.
It crashes.
Yeah, and it crashes, which is fine. But someone killing you is totally different.
Yeah, I don't like.
It's like imagine if there's a point in like our life where people can travel up at the speed of light.
Dude,
that'd be so fucking insane.
I would love that.
Like that's some movie shit, but like I imagine eventually we're gonna get there. Like, as long as we can figure out a way for humans to safely do it, because I know it'll probably be like so damaging to the body. But there's got to be a way around it, you know.
We gotta do it.
And if we do it, then we might find other life out there. Because have we talked about this? Do you believe in aliens?
I think we've touched on it at one point. I believe in aliens.
Because I've always read like different like quotes that's like, it'd be so stupid if there wasn't anything else out there.
Yeah.
Like there's no way we're the only thing that made it. Like there was a very, very small chance that we happened. But at the same time, like the universe is so big and always expanding.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible for there not to be
other. It's like the one evolution. Thing I tell you about numbers. How it's a miracle that something happened, but it'd be even more of a miracle if no miracles happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like stupid, crazy, random stuff has to happen.
Yeah.
Just
'cause.
statistically.
Just because.
It's got to happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, nothing can always
Has
be
to happen
normal.
at some point.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy to also, like, to think of, like, human limits and how sometimes, like, they're consistently getting broken. Like, there was one that I read the other day where, like, normally a human would die at the speed of, like, 19 Gs or something like that. Like, traveling, like, speed-wise. But there's humans who have been hurtling down from, like, a spaceship or some shit.
Yeah.
And they survive traveling like way past it, like
past
200, 100 Gs. Like, it's crazy to think that sometimes shit just happens.
Yeah. It just
Like,
works out.
Like, have you ever heard about people who, like, all of a sudden get, like, superhuman strength when they, like,
when they
absolutely
need it? Like
yeah.
that one lady who lifted up a car?
Mm-hmm. Like, that shit's insane.
That's crazy.
Like, she can't go lift up a car right now,
No.
like, right after that, but, like, just in that moment, all the power that somehow, like, got her to lift a car. Like, that's crazy to think about.
There's so many, like, perfections, you know? It's like the adrenaline and then all your muscles working simultaneously at the correct form.
Yeah.
It's, like, amazing.
But it's, like, it's so crazy how much human limits are being,
Yeah.
like, progressed, too. Like, I remember there's this runner, I always forget his name, but he's basically the best long-distance runner to ever live. And he broke the marathon world record, but the way they did it was so weird. And technically he has the world record right now.
Yeah.
But the goal was to get under a certain amount of time, right?
Yeah.
So he did a race, but it was him by himself.
Mm.
It was in the most perfect climate.
Okay.
They found a place on Earth where it was like mostly straight, flat Earth, and they set out a whole week. So they had everything set up, but they had a week set where everything would be ready, so they could pick a perfect day within that week. And then that day, it was just him running on the perfect playing field,
That's
on the
pretty good.
perfect weather.
Yeah.
And they had his favorite drink available to him whenever he needed it. He had pacers behind him to keep him pace. Like Olympic level pacers keeping him pace.
Damn.
It's like the most perfect situation they set up for him. But he beat the world record that was thought to be unbeatable.
Damn.
Like, technically, it doesn't count as a world record.
Because there wasn't those limits
Yeah.
that the original person had that made the
exactly.
world record.
But
But it's
he
still-
also holds the world record.
It's still very impressive.
Yeah.
Because he still did that.
What's crazy though is like not only did he do this, but he also held the normal world record. So either way, he's like a fucking legend.
Yeah.
I heard a story the other day about I talked to you about this. It's a drug called ayahuasca. I believe it's in Peru, and basically the way it works is you take it, and the first like hour, you're vomiting everywhere. You can have diarrhea. Like, it's like the worst you'll ever feel. But then for the next 6 hours after that, it's like bliss. And people say like you figure everything out about life. Like, people who take it have literally said that it's changed their life. And like people who have for years had drug addictions, people who have had fucked up mental disorders, have taken ayahuasca and said that it's like fixed everything. Like they stand by it hard, right? But traditionally, ayahuasca is used by the indigenous people of Peru for like rituals and things like that, right?
Yeah.
But then people from Europe and America started coming and trying to profit off ayahuasca and, you know, basically gentrifying it.
Yeah.
And there was a story about this guy who basically came in and he like had a mental disorder, right? And then he went there, didn't speak any shit Spanish whatsoever. And then, but the people who were in Peru actually kind of took him in and tried to teach him about everything. But he just was stupid, like he was a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And just wouldn't ever learn Spanish, like he wasn't like treating ayahuasca correctly. And then he basically was trying to make it into a business. So he teamed up with someone there, and then allegedly the other person took his money. So then one day when he went back, he was having like a manic episode. He went up to a policeman, bought a gun off the policeman, like literally walked into the police station and bought a gun off a policeman, went to the tribe that was teaching him all about ayahuasca, ended up shooting like a very well respected elder within that tribe who was like an older woman, and then he was lynched and killed It's a crazy fucking story.
That is a crazy story.
Partly because, like, clearly he had a mental disorder. He wasn't, like, right in the head. But also, you can't just go out and kill an elder.
Yeah.
And then, basically, the whole community banded together and, like, beat the shit out of him. And then, like, one gentleman ended up lynching him and killing him. He was a Canadian man.
I don't know what to...
Yeah, it's a weird line where it's, like, part of it's, like, you shouldn't be messing with indigenous people and their practices. Other part, he did have a mental disorder. So, you can't fully blame it on him, I guess. But also, like, what he was doing was fucked up.
Yeah.
Dude, people don't care about COVID anymore, man.
They really don't.
I went to the park today to go on a run. And when I go on a run, like, I have a mask on. Like, I'm covered up. And people did not care. There was, like, at least 3 parties at the park. And just people walking around with their families. Like, no one had a mask on. I was like, sheesh.
Out here looking like it's Texas.
Yeah, dude, we go from the purple tier to the red tier, and people are like, "Hey, shit, we're good.
We're good.
We're not in purple anymore."
Yeah.
Bro, Texas not mandating masks?
Dude, not mandating anything.
That's stupid.
They're just like, go ham.
That's really dumb.
And like right before spring break too.
Yeah, like we don't have yes, we have the COVID vaccines,
but they're not out.
They're not out to everyone, and they're not even 100% effective.
Yeah.
So it's like. You're really just, like, the moment we had a small ounce of a solution, they were like, fuck it, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's open up.
Yeah.
And it really sucks for people who work in any sort of business when people walk in without a mask. Because you can still, as a business, mandate masks.
Oh, that's
you can
good.
still be like, I'm not going to serve you if you don't have a mask on.
Yeah.
And a lot of businesses are like, well, how the fuck are we supposed to tell people that they have to wear a mask to come in if it's not mandated by the state?
Yeah. It's definitely, like, you have no backup.
Yeah.
It's like when you want to tell somebody in your restaurant, but your manager isn't like super about it. About it. So it's like, because you can be like, oh, you have to wear a mask, and they're like, what are you gonna do? And it's like, I'm gonna go tell my manager, and the manager's like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah. See, I can't do that, bro.
Yeah.
There was this one guy who would always come into the restaurant who would just come without a mask. I'd be like, look, you have to wear a mask until you get to the table. You can take it off at the table. The only time you have to put it back on is when you get out or when you go use the bathroom. But he was like, why the fuck does it matter if I don't wear a mask when I walk to the table? Like, it doesn't matter. And then they were friends with the person who owned the business, so they got to do whatever the fuck they wanted. But I was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
And he was white. Just so you know.
No, yeah.
I know you were wondering. He was white. They're not always white.
Always a person.
80%. 80% white.
80% of the time they're a person.
Yep, it's true.
When at the restaurant, I hear a lot of clients going like, "Oh, we needed a Texas, to like start setting an example to really go out there and be a go-getter."
You fucking
I'm
stupid
just like, I
bitches.
hate you guys.
You're so dumb.
I hate them serving you guys water right now.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people who come in like you don't even want to serve them because they're such assholes.
Yeah, it's like,
so dumb.
and they don't even tip good. Like,
No.
at least have a redeeming quality.
Yeah, like if you're gonna be an asshole, at least give me money.
Exactly.
Right. Like, I mean, you can call me whatever you want as long as you give me at least $20. You know what I mean? Like, tip me $20 and call me a slut. I do not care.
I really thought about it the other day. 'Cause I was just working and like my mind was wandering, and I was like, I'm a sugar baby.
Yeah.
I bring people sugar and I get paid for it.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, we thought about this way too much. I'm not even gonna get into it.
What?
Being a sugar baby would be so nice.
It must be relaxing.
Dude, it'd be so nice. Are you kidding me? And that has been it for the Now That We're Men podcast. My name is Pedro.
I'm Tarzan.
And we'll see you next week. I hope.